Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. Episode 2, What They Don't See. Today, we're outside of Neek, at Neek Attack on Instagram. He's a mixing engineer. He's been on the podcast before for episode 57. He's worked with Lil Skies, Landon Cube, Lil Nar, a bunch of other artists. He started as a mixing engineer. He's starting to do a little bit more production. Super inspiring dude from West Virginia, now living out in LA. We're out here in Sherman Oaks, and he's killing it. I think he's like 22 or 23 years of age. Somebody that I really admire and respect. We've been I think I met him a little over a year ago when we first did the podcast back in October. A lot of things has changed. He's killing it. He's crushing it. Today we're gonna be taking a look inside of his studio for episode 2 of What They Don't See. I'm extremely excited. Enough of me yapping. Let's go check it out. Peace. FaceTime call is the only way to tell these fools I'm outside their crib. Hey, Neek in the building. Yo, I'm outside your house. I'm ready to come cook up. You know what I mean? You need me in the booth? You need me in the booth?
Of course, bro, always.
Let's go. I'm walking up right now. What up?
What up, Bob?
Dude, thanks for having me, bro.
Of course, bro. Welcome back.
This is where the magic happens. We're in Neek's studio today, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
We're gonna be good vision. Thank you for taking the time to do this today.
Of course, bro. I enjoy it. I think it's dope what you're doing.
I appreciate
and
that.
I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Let's kind of go through a couple things. I mean, people can check out episode 57 that we did for Purpose Needs podcast. That's where we really got into like the story of how you got to pretty much where you are today. That was a year ago though, so that's pretty much outdated at this point. Talk to me about, you recently posted this Instagram story of you in your studio, in your basement, in your house, which I love is still on your Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like 8 posts back. Like people can go back
From
and see.
August 2012, I
Yeah,
believe.
so people can actually go back and see the documented of you in your basement, making the best of the studio that you had. At that time in your life, was it solely a hobby? Did you start to think like this could possibly be a career someday? What was like going through your mind at that point?
At that point, honestly, like, that's when my love for like production and music really started to build up to a point. Like when I was going to college, I was debating on going to school for music.
Yeah.
Because I was doing it in my basement, my parents' house, and I was like, man, this could be something worth doing. But then the way like West Virginia works, like pretty much it was a promised scholarship and it was like near free education.
Yeah.
And those schools, after like researching them, kind of learned that a lot of it is a little gimmicky and it's very expensive to go to those schools.
Mm-hmm.
So
Came out
I was
April
new too.
2017, right? April?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that time you had been out here for like 6 months?
Yep.
7 months? Now you got this, bro. I mean...
Yeah, considering before that was legitimately a garage. Concrete walls, garage door, spider webs, massive bugs that I wasn't even familiar with.
Neighbors that were not happy with the music. Right?
Angry neighbors, not a little sketchy of an area.
Yeah.
So we moved here. It's a better area, and the room, I didn't have to renovate it by any means. Before I had to put carpet down on the concrete. I had to make it look livable.
Yeah.
So this space right here was kind of already livable. I don't know if you noticed, but we got these mirrors here.
Yeah, these are great.
And this was actually a dance studio beforehand. And
I feel like you come in here and check yourself out before anybody starts cooking up, you know what I mean?
for sure, and we actually still dance in here. So we keep the vibes of dancing are just...
Slow dance? With the lights though too?
No, normally like crumping.
Okay.
Like hard hip hop dancing.
Crazy.
Yeah. But and they do make the room look bigger, so I appreciate that.
I'm a fan of the carpet.
Yeah,
High quality?
Shout out to my mom.
Your
mom? My mom. That's the most mom thing.
Shout out to the mother.
Most mom thing, she saw the couches. She was like, I need to get a carpet that matches. Actually got that lamp over there from TJ Maxx.
Amazing.
Matches the carpet as well. So yeah, thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. And somehow it actually matches like the rubber floor that was here too. Oh yeah. Nice.
Are these all yours?
So yeah, these right here. This is my acoustic, my electric. This is like my second guitar. My first guitar's back home. This is Landon's bass. Landon has a fire guitar. He lives here as well. But he has a fire guitar that it's like from the 70s, like a Fender Strat.
Wow.
This right here is Go Radio vinyl, Close the Distance. one of my favorite albums ever. Super inspiring. Honestly, made me a better person growing up.
I love that.
Shout
so
out Go Radio.
So you see it every day.
Yeah, I listened to that in high school. Like when I played in a band, it was just like made me want to make music.
Yeah.
And I just really, really enjoyed it. The lead singer of that band was the lead singer of Mayday Parade.
Wow. Okay.
And then he branched off.
I remember
yeah,
that.
he branched off into Go Radio.
Yeah, yeah.
He was like one of the lead singers. They had two, but I
love,
was a big fan of both.
I love this too. The guest stick.
Yeah, that was for that was for when Anthony Russo performed with G in Hollywood.
He's been a strong person getting you to where you are today.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he was one of the first, like, one of my only really connections in the music industry when I first got out here was Russo.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to a lot of amazing people. People to this day I still consider like my good friends out here in LA.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's just making dope music. He's all about just making really good music. He's somebody that like spends a lot of time on a song.
Everybody in his like group too just seem very genuine, very passionate.
Of course.
Good people.
They really are. I'm very, very fortunate to know them, and it's crazy because now like a lot of what I do is completely away from that. But he and I are honestly like more like homies now than anything. Yeah. Like, we work together every now and then, but it's always good just talking to each other.
You guys are both growing.
Yeah, we're both just doing our thing.
Talk to me. So when you're graduating, right? Like as you just said, now it's starting to become a business. You already have the job lined up for you. How nervous were you about making this move to LA?
Pretty nervous, considering that half of my business was my in-house clients that I was recording in Morgantown. Something that it took me 4 years to build.
Yeah.
Where like I was making decent money. And then it was like, all right, I'm going to go move to one of the most expensive cities.
Where that's already happening.
Yeah,
everybody's
where I'm
for
not
mixing.
the only studio. Yeah. And I have to rebuild that whole in-house clientele. Now, granted, I still had my online clients that got me by, but I was able to save up a lot too while in school. So yeah, my main goal when I first got out here was like, all right, I need to get that in-house money like relatively quickly. So I really just undercut everybody. Like all the studios out here, like 50 an hour, I was charging like 20.
Wow. But you still had the clients back in West Virginia.
Yeah.
So you knew that coming out here, I need to find more clients, but I have a starting base. Like I'm going to have a way to pay my expenses, at least in the beginning.
Yeah. But for the most part, I gave a lot of my clients to Tristan, Tito, fire producer, engineer, but he actually reached out to me while I was in Morgantown. And he even said like, hey man, like I heard you're looking for someone to take over your clientele. Pretty much shadowed me for like 6 months.
Wow.
And when I left, like he picked up all of it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, bro, I appreciate you doing this. And we kept in touch. And I was like, I'm going to try to get you out here as soon as I can. And now like I was able to get him out here like 4 months ago. So he lives with me too.
You held the word. You
yeah.
said,
it took me a year, but finally got him out here. He's loving it. And he fits in really nice with everybody. So we got some big stuff in the works, and he's honestly what got me into producing.
Really?
Yeah, because he's like I would say more producer than engineer.
Okay.
But he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So like that's why he can help me a lot. But if it wasn't for him, I don't even know if I'd be making beats.
How inspiring is it to have this here? Even though
this was very inspiring because this is not my gold record. This is Landon's for his song Red Roses with Skies. And fortunately now though, I got mine in the mail. I finally got my first gold for Creepin' with Skies, and Rich Stick just came in.
Report live. We got Landon in the building. Landon, how you doing?
I'm
good.
That's Landon's plaque up on the wall. He always likes to flex it on me.
Just a quick.
I thought
quick
where
Red
it
Roses
fit best in the studio or in the house, and I was like, I'll just drop it there so Neek sees it every day.
Yeah.
And has to live with it.
Honestly, I gotta ask, how has going from making that record in the studio, you guys have no idea what you're cooking up, to now seeing the success that song has had?
It's fucking crazy because it was like super simple. Like the studio we really recorded that shit in was like a basement in a college dorm and shit. And fucking got it mastered back home and shit. And like now, every day I just see the plaque.
Yo, that's crazy.
I just like when I'm in the studio.
Yeah, that's a reminder.
It's amazing how one song, like really,
that's all it takes.
You need one song just to get people to listen.
Literally, when I look at it, it's like this picture right here. I took this in my hometown with my mom.
Oh wow!
Me and my mom went to the like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do cover art, and I guess my mom wanted to be involved, and she was like, oh, I'll come with you. I'll help you. So she like helped me fucking take the picture and shit. That's like her favorite spot in Maryland. So it's just like.
That actually means something to you, which is even more. That's so crazy.
Shout out to those grades.
With the fam.
Yeah. And look who it is, Nick.
What up, Bobby?
Bro.
Pleasure,
Nick.
bro. Pleasure.
Nice to meet you, man.
What's going on? We're doing some cooking up.
Yeah, we're making some content right now, Nick. Nick's one of the most fire director videographers in the game right now.
Yeah.
Nick Jandora, you may be familiar already, but you will be if you are not. Anything you want to say to the people, Nick?
No, I don't know.
He's too busy. He's too busy
quiet.
cooking up himself. You know what I mean? That's another day, another time. You guys will get to know more. How, you know, you're at a point now where you live with Landon Cube. You work with Lil Skies a lot, Lil Nar, a lot of talented people. You know, I don't want to forget you used to work with Anthony Russo a lot. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
of
still
course.
pretty do.
All those dudes.
I have a lot of respect for him and all those guys. What's been key to you getting into this network of extremely talented people? How did you start working with really all these guys? Because this is no longer, no offense to everybody you're working with in West Virginia, but this is now, you're working with some real industry people.
Of course.
That are making things happen.
Of course. What's crazy is I actually recorded Skies at my studio in Morgantown when I was in West Virginia.
He's originally from
He's from Waynesboro, I believe.
Okay.
PA.
Okay.
Not sure exactly how far that is from Morgantown, but he used to go to Morgantown and party just like everybody in the East Coast that lived within 3 hours would do.
We're going there.
We're going to Morgantown. So yeah, he was down for a weekend, laid a feature for my homie Connor. We kept in touch, but we never really worked like that. And then when I came out here, Nick Jandora, who's the Skies' videographer, pretty much lived with me for like a month. And this was right when Skies started like coming up. And pretty much I was like, yo, if Skies needs a place to record, tell him to come through. Is when I was like, had like garage studio in NoHo.
In NoHo, right?
Yeah. So me and Skies, like the first thing we did, the first session we did Atomic Bomb. If you know it, that's tight. It's on the SoundCloud. But ever since then, like, just me and Skies, we work really well together. Later on, like Landon came through as well. But Nick Jandora played a huge role in kind of connecting everybody. Yeah. Because now it's to a point, bro, where like we have a full in-house production where like we record the song, we mix, we master it, we can shoot a video for it. Like it's just a very dope team to be a part of. Yeah. Super fortunate for that, and all the other stuff like just working with Skies and having his name, associating my name with his name has given me clients from everywhere. I've worked with a lot of artists that I didn't think I was gonna be able to work with this early. But like I said, having that Skies cosign is something that is paid huge dividends for me.
I know we talked about when we first got in the studio, but I want to say congrats to you for hitting gold with him on Creeping.
Yeah.
Little Skies. That's 500,000 units.
First one.
That is huge, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's really exciting.
It's going to be pretty amazing when you get to hang up that actual plaque and be like, yo, that's part of my... I was the mixing, I engineered that, or whatever part you played in that.
Yeah,
that's
mix
cool
and master
see,
that whole song.
Clearly where you really make things happen. Like everything looks amazing and it's so cool, but this is
at the end of the day, I sit here.
Where you sit.
Yeah, I sit here for like probably 10 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself ever getting like tired from sitting so long? Do you have to like walk around, or do you?
I'll do jumping jacks. I'll walk around. I try to go to the gym like in the morning just to like get my body right, but a lot of stretching. I just stretch a lot. Yeah, because
about to get my fingers warmed up.
And it's the worst is when you're like working and like you get caught in bad posture for like 30 minutes. Where I'll be like this.
Yeah.
And then I'll get into it,
so in it,
and then I'll be like, oh no, like I was sitting like that for 30 minutes. Right there, that is just a MIDI.
Okay.
Had to get the murdered out.
Of course.
Black MIDI. Fire.
Do you you don't use that for mixing? This is now for more of the production?
I just use that for production.
Production, okay.
Yeah, making beats and laying notes, laying keys.
What about this right here? This
that right there is the interface that powers the monitors and the microphone.
Okay.
So mic runs into this, goes pretty much converts the microphone signal to a digital signal to record. Yeah. We'll peep over here to the vocal booth.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I had this custom made because the room's just so big. When I was recording vocals in there, like you were just getting a loud, like a big room sound, which sounds good on some songs. But for the most part, it's something you don't really want to commit to that when you're recording. Yeah. So I got this booth custom made.
Yeah, this thing's on rollers.
Yeah, it's technically portable, but like each wall.
How do you get this out of the door? You have to literally.
It's 6 parts, like the 4 walls, top and bottom.
Yeah.
And each wall is like 200 to 300 pounds. Like the one with the door is incredibly heavy.
Yeah, this is not.
It's no joke. There's like insulation,
bulletproof,
like
maybe?
yeah, like insulation in the wood. And then you got like the framing, the windows, all that. So like it is a legitimate room that could probably Airbnb.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
All right, I'm about to spit some bars. B.O.B.'s in the booth. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and there, that's a Newman U87.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, what I really want people to see is like you can actually make a living off of it. It is a legitimate career if you do it right.
Look at where we're at. Sherman Oaks, California. We're in your studio, man.
It's still crazy, but yeah, you can definitely, you do it right, you do it smart, and you do good business with people. It's a service that is going to be needed for a very long time, and a lot of people don't really know what it is, but who cares? The people that know, the only people that it matters is the artist. Like I think that's one thing that helped me a lot is like even my family still doesn't really know what I do. A lot of my friends don't really know what I do, but the artists know what I do and they know how good I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's all the respect I need. Like that's really the whole reason I'm doing this. It's like I'd much rather be tight with all the artists than have everybody know me for being the mixing guy.
Of course.
Like I just want to be someone that all these really dope artists want to work with because I do dope work.
Yeah, and you're actually doing that, you know? Like the mixing you're touching on, now you're getting to like the whole production. That's going to be even what you first played us when we first walked in, I was like, he really is on this. I'm not just saying this. Like you were really kind of cooking up something that sounds dope.
For sure, yeah,
it's
definitely
like of your own sound.
Trying to make a sound.
We're in this studio now, right? And the first question I asked you was, I want you to think back to like, you know, when you were in that 2012 studio, right? So, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice to that Neek that was sitting at the computer, no idea what he's doing, no idea that he'd eventually live in LA with his own studio, live full time. What's the one piece of advice you'd give him?
I mean, the one piece of advice would probably be to just cherish every relationship that you have. Can be extremely valuable to you no matter what. And just continue to be a good person to anybody you meet. Because that's what this industry is. It's about really like life, who you know. Like one thing about like with producers, like a question I'll get is like, how do I get credits? And it's really not about like, hey man, here's my beat, listen to it. It's about building like relationships with artists.
Yeah.
I always tell them like find an artist that's still low key, but you really like their sound and you want to make something with them.
Yeah.
Like that's going to get you so much further just in the universe, the way this world works.
Yeah.
Like that, doing that kind of stuff gets you a lot further than just emailing a pack of beats to a poppin' artist that probably gets
Thousands.
1,000 of these emails a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be good to people, build good relationships with everybody.
It's important, like you said, you have a whole production team right now. You guys can mix, record, make the production, shoot a music video.
Sing a song
you guys
to it,
can literally drop everything within this house that you guys live alone. Plug yourself up. Where can people find Neek? Where can they reach out to you? Find your music, like everything.
Yeah, Twitter and Instagram is at Neek Attack. At Neek Attack.
Hello. At Neek Attack.
And then website's neekattack.com. Neekattackproductions@gmail.com is my email. Your best bet is just Instagram or Twitter DM. Pretty good about that. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Bam. All right. Well, Neek, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Of course.
Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Definitely, Bob.
I'm stoked to have you as episode 2. This is the beginning of a big series for the
I think you're onto
Bearded
something,
Man.
Bob. You're onto something with
They
this
don't know.
one.
We're going into every single creative space in LA.
I love it.
The Bearded Man's coming in. We're capturing the story. We're capturing the content, and we're going to put it out there to the world, and we're going to keep growing.
Love it.
All right.
Love it.
Let's go play some ball. Yeah! Woo! Woo! Chill! Let me end the live. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Woo! Coming soon.